Okay. Had to plug something back in. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, but we are all good again. Mic should be working. Hope everyone's doing well. Literally at the time that I was starting to hit the play button, had a tornado warning and it expired. So, crazy coincidence. Hopefully, I scared it off. But in any case, though, it's the final day. We have storms exiting within the next couple of hours. There is still a tornado threat with this. The main threat at this point is now damaging winds. Further up towards the north, there was a hail threat that honestly I didn't think it was going to verify anyhow. Given the dynamics, there wasn't going to be much in the way of instability, and you kind of need that for hail. Oh, I know I missed it. Just as I was hitting the play button, the tornado warning expired. I watched it. So I was trying to get things set up here. That's why it took so long to, I went through 2 songs on the intro because of that. Oh, I know. I know it was. Yep. I missed the good stuff, as some would say. It's just like that sometimes, I suppose. I haven't even shared the stream out. Sheesh. Hmm. Yep, that's usually how it goes. Well, I'm glad you're safe at the end of the day. That's what matters most. That does sound like fun. We can get this camera in Virginia fixed up so that way we can get a look what's going on here. Alright, here we go. Got that shared. Oh, I saw something in here earlier. Okay, so one thing about this convective mode, it does look a little bit sloppy up towards this region here. I'm going to switch over to this radar here around Virginia, see what we're dealing with. I do think that's going to slow down this severe weather threat as well. I said there's really not going to be much longer to go for this before we see this head out of here completely. Trying to get a camera up here now, really, just to get an idea of what's going on. A lot of this, I think, is going to just be heavy rain at this point. This won't linger long enough to be a flood threat, though. I'm also going to get some North Carolina cameras up, because that's where the most action seems to be as well. Okay. I forgot they don't have the video cameras. They just have the frame by frame deal. I guess we're just using Virginia today because there's really no point in using that. Plus, the radar imagery on DOT cameras for North Carolina is like 50 minutes behind. Like, what is that? Speaking of Virginia, what happened to my camera there? There we go. Okay. So the plan for today's stream is going to be pretty simple. Anyone that might be wondering. We're going to just wait and see what happens with this as it's exiting, and then we'll go over what's ahead after this. There's more storm systems in the weather pattern. Obviously, at the range that we're going to be looking at, there's always that chance that they don't verify. But we're just going to kind of take a look ahead, because I'm probably going to rest up tomorrow. It's, like I said, it's been a long stretch, so I think I'll take that time to rest up, try to get ready for this work season as well. So take that time to recover, give you guys a video Friday, and maybe Saturday as well. everything's finally shared on here. There. See what comes of that. The radar not moving still. Whoa, what happened? Did my camera disappear again? Really not a lot going on still, I don't think. Let's check some velocities here real quick, see what's going on with that. Huh? It just went off again. Dude, what the hell? Come on. This is great. This is great. Okay. Alright, so I'm not gonna do anything here. If this camera ends up disappearing, then what the heck? Not really seeing much in the way of rotation. The winds are gonna be pretty strong, though, nonetheless. Alright, HIII is starting to come in now, so I don't think it's going to be too much longer before we start talking about that, unless something changes over here on this end. Oh, camera went out for a second. I got it. I can fix that though. Trying to think. What's my meeting? I'm gonna do a little quick thing. I'm gonna do a quick little thing real quick. Oops, I cannot speak worth anything. I'm gonna do a thing real quick. Oh, it's the wrong one. Alright. Alright, there we go. Alright, folks. We're down to one warning. Well, no, that's still technically two. That segment of the line still looks relatively strong. Another unique thing about these is going to be the fact that we aren't seeing much lightning out of them, so not a lot of instability available off towards the northern end of these storms. Towards the southern end, we're still getting a little bit of lightning, but even then, it's not anywhere near as much as what we're seeing, let's say, yesterday or the day before. In fact, all the lightning is ongoing towards the areas that are offshore, actually. The system itself just is starting to run out of juice, which is common, I would say. Hey, Grant. Another thing I made note of, and I did that with the original title I had on here and also on the thumbnail, is that high winds are going to remain even after these storms pass through. So the threat of some damage still can occur long after the last rumble of thunder. It actually takes longer for you to stop hearing thunder versus the rain stopping, typically. There are exceptions. I'm doing alright. Well rested for once. I'm on the, this is the last day for this particular sequence. We'll do an update. We'll do like a quick little run through of the weather pattern after this, after these storms exit, and then from there, probably going to take a break Thursday and make a new video Friday. Try to rest up and prepare for the new season at my job, so there's that. Also, on my original YouTube channel where I did music, I also am trying to do a little thing there. So, still gonna be busy though. Just maybe taking a slight little rest from the weather for probably like maybe 12 hours. Hey, people were asking. People were worried about their areas. We were, I think, the last streamer that was on live, so I was like, well, I may as well go for it. People were concerned about their areas, and I didn't want to just leave their questions unanswered. Seems like that'd be kind of mean. So I just said, why not? I'll do it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't care. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it either. So, I mean, it was worth it to me. And also, like I said, the circumstances kind of worked out to where I could do it. Oh, wrong keyboard. I do see that we gotten up to 10 likes. Appreciate that, guys. I don't know what to really expect from this right now. Like I said, there's that off chance that we could get a little bit more intensification because the instability seems to be highest just off the coast right now. So can't let your guard down, but it isn't too bad. And just as I'm saying that, I'm starting to see that lightning begin to increase towards North Carolina now. Just as I was saying, instability is relatively limited, but it's always going to be towards this area that I was going to be most interested in over the course of the next couple hours. Hmm. I'm gonna do a voting poll here. This is actually not gonna be weather related. I was trying to figure out how to word that question, but you're only limited to 100 characters, so yeah, all that typing just for that, I'm sorry. But yeah. You want to see a cool secret? Vote. There's the rain in Virginia. I'm gonna try one more time to get some kind of view over towards North Carolina. Like I said, a couple issues with their radar right now. It's about 50 minutes old on the DOT site, which is kind of. Oh wait, no, they got it right. They got it back. They got it back right. Okay, good, good, good. Oh, okay, there. So now it's just automatically going into a loop too, which is kind of weird. But okay. We'll just go with it then. And again, the unique thing with the North Carolina's DOT cameras is the fact that we won't be able to see an actual live feed. It's just going to be a snapshot, but the snapshot updates very often, so it's almost like a video, but it's not a video. Also, if I show you that secret, 5 people have to vote. That's the other catch. Alright, So at least, at the very least, we have an extension of the severe thunderstorm warning here. In fact, let me take a look at that right there. The winds do look like they're surging a bit. You always got to watch those areas, not only for damaging winds, but sometimes you'll get little odd little flare-ups of rotation there too. This is going to be just outside of Roanoke Rapids, and it's going to be working its way momentarily towards Suffolk, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach here. This could be a little bit of a radar glitch here, but we're getting readings of about 70 to 80, maybe even a sneaky little 90 might be in there. There it is right there. In fact, it could even be higher than that. The winds are still, but yeah, the winds are definitely still strong, even though it just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot going on here. All right, let's get this camera up here. Okay, I don't know why it keeps doing that. There we go, that's more like it. You'll see, Isaiah, trust me. It's something I have never shown before. Well, I have shown, but I haven't shown it. There we go, we got that fixed up. Okay, you sound like a clone of Baconator now. I wonder if he's hacked your account. Sheesh. It's not gonna count unless about 5 of you vote. But I'm gonna show off a little. I'm gonna show you how something is done, I guess. I'll put it that way. Also, this will not be available in the playback. This will not be available in the playback. There's only 3 more to go. There's only 3 more. I mean, we're still going to have a good bit of time left over, even after these storms pass. So, there's time. Don't rush it. And like I said, this is also not going to be available in the playback for this stream. Once I finish this stream, I am editing the part with the secret. I am editing it out. So if you aren't here real time, you will not get to see it. Can't do that, Isaiah. I'm sorry. Can't do that this time. I mean, you've been here on the channel long enough, so you've kind of you've heard it. You haven't seen it. You haven't seen it done before. In due time, though, everybody will get to see me do it. No, I've done the Atlanta accent on here. I've done the Atlanta accent on accident. But no, it's not that. But like I said, you're a regular of the channel and a moderator at that, so you've heard it a billion times, you just haven't seen me do it. Like I said, you've heard it a billion times. You hear it every time, actually. No, you've seen me do that. I can do that right now. Well, maybe. My throat's a little messy right now. I also haven't drank any water yet, though, so there's that too. Should get some in just a little bit here. I'm just leery of this last little segment up here towards the north, because that started to really ramp up. So I don't want to necessarily take too much focus off of that. Yeah, you've seen me do death metal vocals, so it's not that. Like I said, you've heard it a billion times. You've seen me do that, though. In fact, you hear it every time you tune in. Just about. Unless you tune in late. Or you skip the very beginning. So, there's that. I'm gonna do a quick thing real quick. I hate how I do that. I'm gonna do a little thing real quick though. I did not. I have never done this. I have never done this. I've never shown this to anybody. There's reasons as to why I haven't. Okay, Baconator, chill out. Baconator Jr. My extra toe. Man. I wonder if that would even be to my benefit if I had an extra toe. I can see that. I can see that. Glad you two have grown close, though. That's cool. That's what we want to see in the community. That is exactly what we want to see in the community. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the line again, make sure we don't have any tornado possible. We actually do. Is it this one? Nope. That one might need to get upgraded though, to be honest. Oh, we do have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning here towards North Carolina. This is just outside of Greenville. Okay, we are close to the radar site. It's just off to the south here where the winds are really picking up here in particular. It's two different areas now. Alright, so we're going to have to shift that camera that we're looking at and maybe go a little further to the south now. I only see 2 votes. Dang, Isaiah, is it really that serious, bro? Is it really that serious? Jeez. Relax, my friend. Relax, relax, relax. I can tell you are. I can tell. Daggone it. Well, it's a tough bargain right now, that's all. We've seen a major uptick in the lightning now in the last few minutes. A lot more lightning to the southern sector. Let me see what county this is. Lenore, Onslow. Alright, so that's where we're gonna look. Oh, and there it is. Not surprised. Tornado. Oops. Wrong thing in the queue. Tornado warnings in Virginia. Oh, it's with that line segment that we were talking about earlier. I was expecting that to be further to the south. This is for Southern or Southampton. This is Sussex County and Surrey counties. This is capable of producing a tornado 13 miles west of Cortland, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. This will be in Holmesville within the next 10 minutes, Wakefield and Waverly within the next 20. You also have to be on the lookout if you are in Fork, Gray, Yale, Lumberton, Manry, Joyner, and Littleton. Yep. The official term for that actually is bounded weak ecoregion, but that's a cool way of saying it though. But yeah, you use it. Typically, people will use this acronym right here: bounded weak ecoregion. But yeah, I kind of like that whirlpool effect a little bit later, a little bit more than I do that. Wow. Did I really just say later? I'm losing it. This stretch of severe weather has me loopy. I expect this to be pretty brief though. But it's pretty clear where the rotation is though. You can see right here where it just began to spin up in the last couple of frames here. With the radar. Wow. Brain is not working. I might need some water real quick. Alright, I'm keeping the radar in wide view. I'm gonna grab some water right after I get this camera here. So let me get this straightened out here. Alright, there we go. Got that squared away. Boykins. The one south of the warning. Yeah, that's right around that area where we saw it bow out just a little bit. So that actually isn't surprising. Yeah, because I mentioned that area is starting to pick up in intensity. We're even starting to see an increase of lightning from there too. Yeah, we do need to watch that. We do need to watch that. It could just kind of do its little thing real quick. Really sneaky about it too. And those are always the one you need to side out of most. I think you can almost see the low-level winds kind of. It's actually pretty clear here, actually, on the radar. You can see how these winds blowing towards the radar have that south to northward component. And then a line moving off to the northeast. Yeah, it could happen right there. That is a very good read right there, Isaiah. Very good read. Yeah, there's several areas we have to watch here. Let me run and get that water then before another warning gets issued and I miss the cue for the siren. Be right back. Alright, we're back. Well, we got back in time before another warning got issued. That's good. This little. No, that's Colonial Heights. So you're probably looking further up. Yeah, I see it. Broad right now. But just that little jolt is all it really needs. That instability is going to be right towards the coast here, so. I could evolve into something there. I think this warning's rotation's already broadened out, so we're going to probably be watching that transition to the south now. That's going to probably take over as the dominant segment. But also, just look at how much wind energy there is in general out here. This is crazy to see. What a sight. Well, yeah, the low's closer to the northern sector, so the rotation was going to be best there. And I think the instability is a little bit better up there, actually, truthfully. Yeah, I see it. I've seen it. So really, at this point, any single one of those up north, just towards the northern edge of North Carolina, southern edge of South Carolina, of Virginia, excuse me, could very easily prompt warnings. Yep. Cyclonic flow, man. Cyclonic flow. I mean, yeah, we got a severe thunderstorm warning. But it wasn't anything I was really concerned with. We maybe only got like 2 rumbles of thunder. The winds, of course, were strong, but nothing of real significance. Power didn't go out. I just slept through it pretty much. I went to sleep while it was going on. That's how really just how unimpressive it was to me. I just went to sleep. But then again, I was also very tired. So there's that too, but you know, hey. Check that velocity scan. A lot of movement going on there, but I'm not so sure. I mean, it's still got, yeah, the spin's still there. Yeah, that's another area that we're going to watch over here. Boykins and Newsom. I think that one's actually ramping up. I do think that that could become the dominant sector momentarily. Needs a little bit more spin though before they call a warning on it. The storm is uptrending over here though in the last little bit. Lightning's beginning to increase. Itching. I'm itching a lot. Man, skin is dry. Uh-oh, we got a third vote. Okay. fingers are extra crunchy today, so anytime I move, it seems like I pop them. So if you end up hearing that, I do apologize. It is not intentional. It's very awkward, actually. Alright, Isaiah, we're up to 3. You got 2 more to go. If you get 2 more votes, you'll get what you want. Of course, that will be at the end of the stream. Probably got another hour worth of storms to watch. Maybe less. And then of course we're going to be going over the weather pattern after that. And then it'll be after, and then only after that is when we would do the thing. The other thing is, if I do this, you're only going to be able to see it live. I don't know who's even going to be on Discord that'll actually go watch the live, so I don't know how well that's going to work, but you are welcome to try. You are more than welcome to try. Like I said, also it'll be the first time I've done that. If you know, it'll be the first time that I've done this in front of anybody. No one's ever seen me do this before. We'll see. I would hope that you wouldn't regret your decision either if you do get what you want. Dang. Why are my hands so why are my fingers so crispy right now, popping left and right from just the slightest movement? I just want to move my hand. I just want to have free range of motion with my hands. Maybe I need to go see a chiropractor or something, because this is not normal. This can't be normal. Jeez, man. See, literally any small movement I make, it's just popping. Well, let me just do a thing real quick. I'm gonna mute my mic so that way you don't have to hear it. I think I got the worst of it all out of my system. I don't know why my fingers were popping like that. Like literally any movement that I made, they were just cracking, just like, just over and over again. By the way, Isaiah, up to 4 votes. You just got one more. Hey, how you doing, amputee? Okay, well, I'm halfway freaking out because my hands are popping literally with every little motion that I've made over the last 20 minutes. They're still kind of doing it, but it wasn't as loud as it was like a few minutes ago. That was kind of alarming. I wonder if it has anything to do with my my old injury I had a couple years back. You're definitely seeing that surge of wind over there. That goes without saying. Maybe that area north of Franklin if it tightens up to get a warning next. I don't see Ivor in here. I have to zoom in more. Okay, there's Ivor. It was a little too far. Yeah, Ivor, I like that one a little bit more. Yeah, that's probably where the next warning will end up being. Wait, hang on. Let's look at the next scan here. Tornado possible. Okay, sounds about right. Yeah, that definitely looks suspicious. Trends any further, if it trends up any further, that definitely is going to get the next warning. By the way, Isaiah, that is amputee. We met him the other day on that big overnight stream. Looks like he's one of our regulars now, so might want to get acquainted. Ouch. Yep, there it goes again. Yep, they're still popping. I thought I did enough to stop all of that. I think it's my wrists that are really the problem. Well, the weather's out of my area. That's not the issue. It's just my old injury from boxing. I had hurt my hand, of course, obviously. Well, actually, I think I might have pinched a nerve in my wrist. That was like that was not quite 3 years, but 2 years ago. Yeah, I pinched my nerve here. My hand kind of bent wrong. So, there's that. Yeah, like trying to play guitar is very difficult nowadays. Well, not very difficult, but it's a little trickier now. Like, I don't feel like I can pick the same as I did before. Oh, Isaiah, somebody trolled you and they said no. That's funny. And again, it may have been a mistake on their part. Check the voting poll. Somebody voted no. Check the voting poll. Somebody voted no. Jeez, man. Chill. It's not that serious. It's no skin off my back. It's more yours. Still, overwhelming majority of those who have voted have said yes, so I guess I'll do it. Yeah, this rotation looks like it's still kind of broad right now, so I don't think they're going to issue a warning. Oh, wait, and there it is. There's the fifth vote for yes, so yeah, we'll do it. Of course, that's going to be towards the very end of the stream. We're not done just yet. We still got, like I said, probably another 45 minutes to an hour. Maybe even more than that. Let's see just how far away this storm system actually is. Yeah, so another hour or so of storm coverage itself, and then probably about 20 to 30 minutes of, I guess you would say, probably 20, 30 minutes of discussing what's next with the weather models. And then from there, and only then, will we do the thing. But yeah, that warning's probably about to expire in the next little bit here. If they continue it, it's probably because it's right over the radar site. Alright, let me make sure I have the angle right, because I might have botched it a little bit. I went a little too far. Maybe I pushed it a little too far to the east. Yeah, okay. Well, just a little further along. So yeah, just a little more than an hour. Really just depends more so on how this storm system up or down trends. Jeez, my fingers just keep popping, man. What the heck? It's super alarming, man. Am I really just getting older? Is there some damage going on my fingers from all the years of playing guitar? Oh, let me get that off of there. It'll stop me from being able to move around on the radar freely. I'm trying to see what the southern sector's doing too. See how fast this is going. Oh wow, that's screaming. That's going 80. I think there's a chance that with the amount of instability available, that we might see this actually speed up in motion. All the little inflow notch, it's not necessarily a hook, but I see what you're saying. Velocity needs to uptrend a little bit more before it gets a warning, but I see it. I do see it. WTV inflow mimf. What? What? And the warning has been allowed to expire. We'll have to see if that holds up or not. Dang, it's still doing it. We'll switch to this radar to the south. Keep an eye on these tornado possible warning storms as well. This seems like a big old massive wind, but well, I see signs of some attempts at broad rotation, but I haven't really seen anything threatening on here either, so there's a positive in all of that. Went down wrong. Sorry, y'all. Ooh. That didn't feel good. Oh. Holy cow. Alright, sorry about that. I'm good now, though. I'm good now. Didn't think I would pay that kind of price for trying to stay hydrated. No, I was actually trying to force that little bit of water that snuck down my windpipe out. Now, there's a way to do that. No, I don't have no, my cough would sound much rougher than that. I think the mic probably distorts it. Just like it could distort my voice as far as like the harsh vocals are concerned, like the whole screaming thing. Yeah, I haven't really seen any signs of rotation off to the south here. I do not. I do not smoke. I don't smoke. I'll have a beer every once in a while, but that's about it. Even then, I've really kind of cut back on drinking over the years. I mean, I think like when you first turn 21, you kind of do it more, and then if you get older, you kind of think either you're out doing it constantly because you're partying, or you kind of just don't see the point in it anymore. I was kind of more the latter. Not saying that I won't have beers every once in a while, but it's a very slim chance that you would ever see me get like blackout drunk for any reason at all. That much I will say. Maryland's been relatively quiet. Yeah, it is almost that time for you, isn't it? I'm excited for you. No, Maryland's been relatively quiet. There's a severe thunderstorm watch there, but no, I haven't seen any warnings. Also haven't seen any reports. Everything's kind of stayed further off to the south. Like, DC itself is fine. In fact, I don't think anything's gonna happen over there because it looks like it's a little too cold. A lot of these areas are struggling to get to 60. There was a severe thunderstorm warning earlier. Let's look at the radar now and see what happens. See what we're dealing with now. Looks like the worst of it's already passed. Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't. Yeah, when I woke up and I started drawing the thumbnail for the stream, I was still watching the radar. I never really saw anything over here. I mean, if it was, but we haven't seen any reports. There hasn't been a single report that's really come out of the area yet. Maybe one wind damage report here towards Woldroff. And that was just really a tree down. Yeah, not a whole lot of action over there. This is an old meso discussion here. Well, wait a minute. Some storms are starting to fire here too. We could get a little hail out of these. I wouldn't expect much out of it, but we could get a couple of hailers. More people are voting in your favor, Isaiah. 8 people have voted, and 75% of them have said yes. So, definitely got to do it. And this is going to be exclusively for the people that have watched live, because I'm going to edit this later, and I am not going to have that part in there. It is going to be cut out. So, all I got to say to that is, make sure you're tuned in at the very end of this stream. Nah, let them keep voting. I'll let them keep voting. It's not a big deal. It's a secret. New Jersey, New York. Not really expecting much over there. You actually might get some snow flurries out of this. if anything. But as far as severe weather is concerned, I wouldn't be too concerned. I wouldn't be worried about it at all. It's very cold up here right now. Too cold for severe weather, I should say. No warnings, just rain. All rain. There's a little humidity, but as far as like any sort of severe threat, should stay off to your south. There's not any lightning on radar. All the lightning's well off to your south, over towards parts of Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina especially. You might see some action well off to your west here towards like Pittsburgh. You mean it's moving to the east? Yeah, this is all moving to the east, man. Yeah, there's not a single rumble. There's not a single lightning strike on here. I have the tracker on. Yeah, you're good, man. I think you mean east. I think you mean east. I think he meant to say east, but he said west. I've done that plenty of times, so it's not necessarily his fault. Yeah, but yeah, New York, New Jersey is clear for right now. I would anticipate it to remain clear. Wouldn't be too worried about anything. Just a little rain. It's not going to be that chilly rain either, which is good. The way I see it, if you ask me, and I know that some people may disagree, you're going to give me chilly rain, just give me snow at that point. Because there's nothing nice about cold rain. Nothing at all. That's how I feel about it. Because cold rain is just miserable. It makes the cloudy weather, which can be dreary at times, even more dreary. So I'll pass. Give me snow at that point. Hold on. It should be getting picked up on the radar here then. Because watch. Because watch. This area over here where all the action is, you'll see these little plus signs right here. These little yellow, orange, and white plus signs here. That's lightning. So should be getting picked up on radar if you're getting lightning. Even if it's cloud to cloud. Let me zoom in extra close. Nope. Nothing being picked up on radar. Not even from the strongest part, which is all the way back over this way. Not a single rumble. It's odd if you did end up hearing it. I mean, there's a chance that the radar might not have picked it up. I think it's unlikely, but there's always that chance. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it takes long for the radar to update. These updates sometimes like every 2 to 5 minutes, so we'll check back again in a few minutes. About to cross the bay here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a chance that it might not have picked it up. Doesn't happen all that often. but nothing's impossible. Yeah, showers are pretty slow over towards your region. Down here where the severe weather is, they're moving 55 to 80 miles an hour. So, crazy parallel, right? A few hundred miles to the south, it's a whole different world. West Virginia's starting to see some lightning, though. Oh yeah, the rain's going to be coming down for a while over there. I wouldn't necessarily be concerned about flash flooding, but at the same time, though, it's going to be pretty much it's pretty much going to be a washout. That's the only, like, crappy part. Oh no, there's no such thing as too cold for a flood. Oh, warning for a flood? It's unlikely. Yeah, you got some action heading your way, Justin. Yeah, you got some action heading your way. Depending on where exactly you are, you might be in a severe thunderstorm warning, might not be. But you probably got another good few minutes of action here. Oh, it's in Virginia. It's about to creep out of Virginia now. In fact, there were a few tornado warnings over here earlier. Good thing is, it looks like we're starting to lose some of that environment over here. Oh, you're in the warning? Okay. May miss you. You're gonna probably get some rain, probably gonna get some lightning. I haven't seen anything in regards to rotation that would be threatening. You're definitely gonna get some strong wind though. I will say that much. This storm system has been an avid wind producer. And you're still gonna have strong winds even after the storms pass. There's just so much wind energy around this storm. Like, if I actually pull this up right here, I'm gonna try to do that real quick. Oh, if I clicked the wrong thing. I meant to click the clouds here. Yeah, it's gonna be windy all across the eastern seaboard. Even after the storm and all the rain is done, you're still gonna have some remnant wind. Really, you should be grateful that you aren't further off towards the west. Because over here towards like Kansas City and all these areas, St. Louis, they had wind gusts up to about 70 miles an hour. In that little bay region right there, yeah, that sounds about right. Alright, let's shift over to there. Oh, this is in North Carolina that you're talking about. Let's shift back over there then. Oh, the wind earlier. Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, the wind's going to still remain after the storms. Just about the entire eastern seaboard, even my area, even though the cold front has passed, is still under a wind advisory. So you're going to get gusts occasionally up to about 35 miles an hour plus. I mean, even after, like I said, even after the storm passes, it's still going to be there. And then it's going to cool down after that, unfortunately. Oh, you're just north of Wilmington. Yeah, the winds are ridiculously strong, though. I wonder if the radar's somewhat tweaking here. Oh, that's because we're further off toward the south and looking higher up into the storm. I have not yet. Well, the thing is, we're in the early stages of spring, so we'll still have those cold blasts here or there. Oh, now I see it, yeah. It might have taken you out of the warning, Justin. No, I can see it just from here. I don't need to. I'm gonna change it though, but yeah, I can see it though. Pretty clear. I don't even have to put it in motion. I can tell just from the bearing that it looks like it's trying to do a thing. Back on it. No, water's still messing with me. Alright folks, don't forget to hit that like button, by the way. Over the ocean. If it's over the ocean, then if it's over the ocean, there's no point in talking about it because we can't even see it. Oh wait, this actually could make its way towards Beaufort. Do have to remember that that is going in that northeastward motion. Yeah, I do see that too, though. The woods in general over this area are ridiculous too. Dang, I'm still feeling the effects a little bit from over the course of the week. Alright, let's look at reflectivity, see what we got left here. Oh, you are? Nice. Well, you'll get to see a little something after this stream. Well, I got good news for you, by the way, Justin. This storm was moving at 80 miles an hour, so this is already cleared out of your area. Now you're just left with the strong winds, but they're going to be under severe limits, so damage might be minimal. But if you do have trash cans outside, just to make sure that they don't blow over, you might want to take them inside or tether them at least, because 35 miles an hour will still loft your trash cans. So I guess you could say we have a trash can advisory in effect. Maybe that's the joke we'll make for a wind advisory, the trash can and leaf advisory. Is there a tornado warning in Jacksonville, North Carolina? No, there is a severe thunderstorm warning. There is a tornado possible tag with it, but the storm looks like it's almost about out of the area. If there's any concerns of rotation, I'm going to take a closer look at that, Nita, but it does look like for the most part the threat is going to be dropping off for you from this point forward. I don't see any real signs of rotation here. I think the worst of it is kind of passed off to your east. Keep in mind though, you will have some remnant winds after the storm passes. The storm system itself just has a lot of wind energy in general. So as a result, excuse me. So as a result, the wind advisory is in effect. I made a new joke, called it a trash can blowing leaf advisory. I'm trying to be a smart aleck, but at the end of the day, though, your tornado threat's just about over. I would be very surprised if you would end up getting something at this point. Oh, we lost the Virginia camera. Daggone it. Well, the majority of you have voted yes, so we're just going to end the poll off there. 13 of you voted, which is really good. We normally don't get that much interaction on the voting polls, so pretty cool. I'll keep good on my word, promise you that. I don't know what the heck that was on my cheek there. Oh, I figured out what it is now. Alright, y'all, so I think the sector for North Carolina is just about clear, with the exception of this little area here. This area is moving at about 70 miles an hour. Well, 60 miles an hour now. It's slowed down a little bit since the last warning. The threat of damaging winds is still pretty considerable towards this region. So if you're over towards, like, let's say Washington, or if you know anyone over towards Cantago, Belhaven, there's going to be some really strong winds blowing through in the next 10 minutes or less. And eventually, further down the line, we're going to be looking at Swan Court and Vandermoor as well. Or Vandermoor, not Vandermoor. A little segment there looks kind of interesting too. Let me go back to wind velocity. It's a little sheer line, but nothing in the way of tight rotation right now. So there is that. Some good news to be had there. I'll be right back. A severe season for your area like last year, I'm pretty sure a lot of other people would prefer not to have that. Besides, severe season just started, dude. So let's not speak too quickly. You may come to regret that. And let's not speak carelessly either. Because you had a couple close calls too. Now that's one thing I can't control. I can't control who gets severe weather or not. But one thing I can say though is if there is severe weather, I'm going to do my best to be here to cover all of it. Oh, I know that you aren't amputee. I understand. Trust me. I already know you aren't. So we're getting close to, we're getting ever closer to being done with this here. We have 2 considerable severe thunderstorm warnings still in parts of Virginia as well. Okay, I gotta figure out where the radar site is. I thought I had one closer up here. I guess we'll just have to use... Well, with the way the setup is right now, I don't expect a whole lot in the future. We're gonna be going over that after we clear out, after we watch these storms clear out. And then we'll kind of go on from that point. But yeah, as of right now, I wouldn't be too concerned. Yeah, you had way too close a call in December. Yeah, that was literally just like right off to your west, so I'm shocked that I'm hearing that from you. But hey, some people like it. I don't judge. Me personally, I have no issue with severe weather. I like it as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. That's the thing. I don't like to see people get hurt. I probably did. I don't really remember because I've had so many other events that I've covered since then. This brain is only so big. It can only contain so much information at once. Oh, you sent it again? Oh yeah, oh yeah, that is very close to you. That was literally just off to your south. Forget it being off to your west. Wow, Isaiah, you really voted on the Discord. That's crazy. You really got people to vote on Discord. That's insane. You truly are nosy. You truly are nosy, sir. Jeez, man. Also, just thought I'd make mention of this. If you know anybody in parts of Northern Virginia and parts of Pennsylvania, especially over towards the Pittsburgh region, there is a chance you may see some small hail. That's interesting, Isaiah. I've actually covered your area quite a few times during hurricane season, Justin. We covered Adalia a couple years ago. And I did a lot of coverage over your area in particular. We also did a little bit of coverage last year as well. Alright, so the secondary cold front that you're seeing on the screen here is where the cool weather comes in. Oh wow, yeah, that was before the time of the channel, so I wasn't covering that, but I do remember watching all of that unfold. I have an old flame that's from North Carolina. Well, it's just ashes. Yeah, it's cranking its last little bit. Yeah, because all this rain out ahead of it is definitely going to rob what little instability is left. So probably at the top of the hour is where we'll do the forecast part of the stream, and then we will do the thing. Oh, it is. Yeah, it definitely is. I'm kind of interested in this last little sector here. I want to see what it does, but after that, off we go. I think by the time we yeah, it's like the head got cut off or something. That's probably just from the perspective of the radar. Because remember, we're looking at one single site. We're not looking at the entire network or a multi-regional scan. If you switch to a multi-regional scan, you'll probably still see more shower activity further off towards the north. Look. See? There you go. There's our next severe thunderstorm warning. Still have 70-mile-per-hour winds tagged with it too. A lot of that has to do with just the overall energy from the storm system. Just the sheer amount of wind alone. Honestly, could almost argue that these would be well, you wouldn't argue that these are non-thunderstorm winds, but a lot of these are truly just downdrafts. Like the storm's overall intensity outside of that, as far as the atmosphere is concerned, not all that abundant, not that impressive. But the wind is still going to be enough of a factor to keep an eye out for. Yeah, your front's about to pass, so you're gonna see that. You're gonna actually really feel those temperatures drop off. They might already have dropped off by this point. But yeah, it's gonna feel a lot different outside. What's the best radar source that is actually like useful? It depends, because Radar Omega is still pretty good as far as radar is concerned. You do have to pay for it. I would actually go as far as to say Weatherwise. Weatherwise, there is a browser feature on there. I'm sure you probably could download it for Windows, but Weatherwise is also free. Radar Omega, you have to pay $9 to use this. And it can be a little bit hard on your computer. Like it takes up a nice little chunk of CPU. So, yeah, I would say Weatherwise. Like whenever I have to do dual coverage, Yeah, attic radar's another good one as well. But yeah, whenever I do dual coverage, I tend to use weather-wise to cover the other side of the event, which is typically what will happen during the springtime. We'll be watching for winter weather, blizzard type conditions like yesterday, but we'll also be watching the tornado threat or severe thunderstorm threat like we are here now. So usually I'll just have a little screen on the bottom left corner here, and I'll be looking at winter weather. Of course, that's more advanced stuff if you're doing like live streaming and that type of stuff, but yeah, I would say attic weather or attic radar and weather-wise are two good ones to start learning from, and it won't cost you anything. It's not hard on your computer. Me personally, I kind of prefer weather-wise a little bit more. Plus, it's the new one on the block. I think attic radar might be a tiny bit better though. I have to check it out again, because I think attic has the multi-regional. I might be wrong, but we'll see. Nope, attic radar does not have multi-regional either. Yeah, so does weather-wise. I think they're pretty identical, I would go as far as to say. It's all good, Isaiah. Yeah, neither one of them have multi-regional scans. Weather-wise does have the ability to show the outlooks though. Okay, this does too. Good, good, good. That's a nifty little feature. I think you might be able to look at previous events using attic radar. I think attic radar is very similar to Radar Omega's layout, has a very similar layout to Radar Omega, which is good. But yeah, you should check out weather-wise though, Isaiah. I think you'd like it just about as much as attic. I don't know if weather-wise actually has that. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do, folks. I'm still gonna keep an eye on this, but we're gonna do the thing where we have it on the bottom left corner of the screen. I really think the worst of the threat is over now. Of course, never say never. You can always have that one odd instance So we'll have the radar on the bottom left corner of the screen, and we're going to kind of shift into our weather model data, looking at, and we're going to make some forecast observations here. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and do the thing that I promised I was going to do. So first thing I'm going to do, and for this part, do we really need my camera at this point? That's the question I got to ask. Actually, I am going to turn off the camera. You won't see me for a second. I'm sorry if that does bother you, but I am still here. In fact, I probably am going to haunt you all like this. Mwahaha. Oh yeah, you definitely sound like you have the computer for it. It's just really the cost. Radar Omega or Weather Scope, or Radar Scope, not Weather Scope. Keep thinking of weather-wise. Radar Scope or Radar Omega are the best ones. Personally, I would recommend Radar Scope because it's a tad bit more reliable. No, Isaiah, no one has ever called you that. Stop it. Stop it, sir. Okay. Alright. Since this is exiting out. Okay, good, everything's in. Everything is in. Alright, guys. So let me make sure I have the radar up here. There we go. We're gonna zoom in. We're gonna make sure we're still zoomed in on this area here. But yeah, you can see these storms are really starting to lose intensity here. In any case, though, you guys see everything just fine before I get started. Just want to make sure that we're all good here. Alright, we'll have the volume a little bit lower on the music for now, so we can go over this. Okay. Also, okay, so this is what we're dealing with right now. This is our big trough that's been causing all of our problems. All our severe weather, all our winter weather has been caused by this trough. This is moving out right now. So this is really about the time frame that we're at currently. Once you're on the other side of this end of the trough here, this part of the axis, the weather is stable for the most part. Gonna have some cold air coming in behind it. Whenever you see this little dip here, right around this part of the axis is where the cold air sneaks in. So as we continue to move forward, we eventually start to warm up out here towards the east. Out towards the west, we have a new trough beginning to come in. With this, I don't think severe weather is going to be quite as prominent here. Some is still possible, but as of right now, I wouldn't expect anything of major significance. Could get some cold rain, maybe a rumble or thunder or two. But if anything, this might be a little bit of a wild card feature, depending on how much cold air can sneak into the deep south. Maybe a little bit of mountain snow, maybe mid-Atlantic snow if we can get cold air to mix in. Once we go beyond that point, this next trough is the one that I'm really interested in as of right now. This one may have the potential to produce severe weather if we can get a little bit better ridging out ahead of it. It does look like it's trying to trend in that direction, but at range though right now, I have more questions than I do answers. The trough doesn't look all that amped up, so that is a positive. But again, The other question I have with this, if we get more cold air to mix in with this could be a northeast and mid-Atlantic type of wintry setup as well. And that really depends heavily on whether or not that storm deepens. If we go further along here, there's a new storm system that follows. This one looks pretty stout, but this looks like maybe a potential wintry system to go along with it around the middle part of the month. Doesn't really look like a super prominent environment for severe weather, but we'll have to keep an eye out for a cold core setup, especially over towards the Midwest. If you're over towards the deep south right now, it looks like a lot of cold air is going to be coming in behind this, so it's going to get a little chilly. You may even see some snow flurries from this. Could be a big snowstorm over towards the western half of Texas and over towards maybe even parts of New Mexico as well. But yeah, as far as severe weather is concerned, not the most impressive look that I've seen by any stretch here. As we get towards the mid-month here, we're kind of trending cold here, if I'm being honest. See a lot of troughing here, but not much in the way of warm air. I'm going to show you what that looks like on the temperature map here. But it looks like in the long range here, we do kind of cool down considerably. Alright, so here's the temperature map for you guys. So, as you can see, starting to warm back up towards the end of the weekend. If you're over towards the deep south, if you're over towards the central plains, you're going to start to cool down by the time we get into Sunday and Monday. Get a brief warm up here. Another storm system comes in. We'll have to watch and see if this ends up uptrending or not. But you can see though, if that trough does get more intense, we could have something to work with, but too far out of range. How you doing, Tornado Effects? After the 13th though, watch the cool air that's going to start to sneak in across a good chunk of the lower 48 here, especially off to the east. By the time we get towards that 300-hour mark, we're going to have some chilly mornings. We do recover pretty well, but the further along we go into the model data here, we're either right at average or just above it. Like I said, with us looking 10 plus days in advance, nothing's guaranteed. And this is only one model that I've looked at. I can look at a bunch of others. But in any case though, from what I'm seeing off the GFS at least, we're not looking too bad. I agree. I think Dixie might be the hot spot this year. Of course, there are still a lot of questions. The question is, can we shake off the cold air that we keep on having to deal with? Because I think March is still going to surprise a lot of people. We're going to have above average temperatures across the board as a whole for a lot of the lower 48. Unless you're out towards the northwest. But even though we're expecting above average temperatures over the 30-day period, well, yeah, you're still going to get a little bit of cold air sneaking in here and there. So this is the preset map. This is something y'all are a little bit more familiar with. Here's the next big storm system coming in, or really not even a big storm system. Just see some showers, storms, a little bit of rain. Up towards the mountains, you might get some snow. Oh, nice. So I'm sure you understand the model data we're looking at. I'm actually going to look at the Euro in just a second, too. You might have a cold core setup potentially like around the 13th or 14th. Obviously, with it being so far into range, like 150 plus, I don't want to put a lot of merit into it, but, you know. Yeah, that's going to happen, 23. A lot of that's going to be due more to the storm system itself instead of the thunderstorms. If you do get a stronger storm, though, you could get a downdraft with even stronger winds, but I wouldn't expect anything major over towards York. We'll see what happens, though. It's getting close to time for me to shave again. The neck beard and the chin beard is a little crazy. In Virginia. Those storms are still pretty strong. I do have the radar on the bottom left corner of the screen just in case things do get even crazier. But yeah, a lot of that's going to have to do with the overall storm system itself. Like, there is just a boatload of wind energy with this as a whole. And it's going to even linger after the storms pass through, so we're going to be dealing with some strong winds for a while. I actually made a joke saying that I issued a blowing trash can and leaf pile advisory. Anyone that still might have that outside. Either tether the trash cans down or make sure you picked up the leaves beforehand, because a lot of this will be gone. It might end up in somebody else's yard, that's for sure. But as we continue to go forward here, if I can get this to move, there we go. We have a couple more chances for some winter weather too. Then eventually we do start to clear out towards the very end of the month, but we still have some slightly busier days ahead. Obviously, looking 16 days out, questionable as to what may or may not verify at this time here. All right, let's go to Euro. Let's kind of rinse and repeat here. I'm gonna throw this into a loop this time. Not a super fast one, but we're gonna go ahead and loop it. Alright, so to anyone that's a little bit more weather savvy and used to looking at these models, let me know if you see anything in particular that interests you. I know what interests me already. I'll let it run one more time so you can see everything before I break it down. Anything kind of catch your eye over there? Tornado effects? Yeah, I kind of think that the warm sector might be pinched off a lot like this last situation, though. So I think we honestly could be looking at a cold core situation as we get towards like the 14th, possibly. Alright. But what you're talking about is right during this time frame. Negatively tilted, yes. I have questions with this warm sector for the deep south, but it could be possible if you go towards southern Iowa. Obviously at 228 hours out, don't put a lot of merit into that, but keep an eye on it. But from what I'm seeing here, could be a point of interest here. Hey, G bro. Yeah, it looks a little bit cold here, but just over, I think like just towards that border right here, maybe the tri-state region could have something. A lot of that's going to be contingent upon the warm sector, though. Oh, I see you. Oh, that's you, Justin. I thought it was tornado effect speaking. My bad. Yeah, the tilt makes it a little bit colder towards the Midwest. There's going to be some wraparound snow on the backside of this from the looks of it, too. It could almost, depending on how this trends, it could almost be a repeat of this last system that we've been dealing with. Then after that, possibly tilted trough to end out this model run. Alright, look at the temperatures real quick. And we'll kind of go on from there. The Euro definitely seems like it's a bit colder than the GFS in the long run, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. It is a pretty nice warm-up that's expected over here towards the southern plains here, heading into the Midwest. Once we get towards the 11th, we're looking pretty nice across the eastern half of the U.S. Anywhere east of the Rockies, for the most part, looks pretty good. Cooler temperatures still remain over towards the northern states, but even so, I would go as far as to say that we're above average there. Once we go past that point, the 14th is where that concern for severe weather comes in. There is a nice warm sector that does kind of pop up here. I'm interested in seeing what happens with that. Obviously at 210, I'm not trying to put a whole lot into that. You can see a frontal boundary even kind of pop up here, because if you look at this gradient where we're at potentially 80 degrees, a little bit further behind it, it's not a tight one, but you can see 60 degrees here. So maybe I'll be watching this area. Like I said, we're close to 10 days out at this range, so a lot of contingencies with this. And as we go further along, getting into the 15th, we'll watch that threat and maybe progress off to the east. Like I said, a lot of questions remain with the warm sector, moist sector. We're not going to get into that too heavily. Big cooldown is expected, though, as we get past the middle part of the month, though. So make sure you brace yourselves for that. Could be a lot of cold rain, some snow ahead for some people. So best be ready for anything. And more importantly, don't put the jackets away just yet. Alright. Lastly, recip outlook. And then we're going to do the thing. Then, Isaiah, if you're still here, we're going to do the thing. Just a little bit. Okay. I'm trying to warm up for it. Alright, so this is what the Euro's precip's looking like, by the way. Isaiah, you were talking earlier about the potential for a few snowflakes. Euro's kind of working against you a little bit. GFS is your friend in that case, but anyhow, though, as far as any sort of mid-Atlantic southern snow, looks like we've trended away from that. I remember a day ago it was looking a little bit different. It's hard to say. There's so much to ask. So much that goes into that. Nobody asked the Euro. Salty. There's potential for it to be very similar to 2011, but I can't really hype that up at the same time, though. But what I will say, though, is you never know. At the end of the day, the damage indicators are what determines what rating we end up getting. So ultimately, I would go as far as to say that I don't know. Because half of these places that we've had some of the big tornadoes at, their building structure codes are not going to be enough to survive 200 mile per hour winds. You have to basically have something hit like a huge metropolitan area almost in order to get that kind of rating, which is unfortunately the worst case scenario. And that's if the tornado even hits the threshold. So lot of gray areas in the current Fujita scale, or enhanced Fujita scale, I should say. Because originally the Fujita scale, and it still is this way, it's all based off of damage indicators, not the wind speed. So until that gets addressed, the debate's always going to continue. That's an interesting look right there. I'm sorry, G bro. I mean, we're still in March, so we might be a ways off from it, but we're trying. I think there might be some times where we get close to 65, 70 for your area. But yeah, you're going to see some 60s within the next couple of weeks, though. But we're going to be kind of flip-flopping, too, so that's the thing. Yeah, we never wish for that, though, especially if you end up being one of the ones that's the first responders. First on the scene, that's an awful situation to be in. Alright. Okay, guys. So now, especially for those of you that voted yes, we're going to do the thing. Alright, first I'm going to pin this. And then give me a second. I'm going to show my face in just a moment. There we go.